There is a mirror in a bedroom in Savannah, mounted in a walnut frame that's gone slightly cloudy at the edges, that has reflected the same woman's face for 53 years. And it is very likely the only witness left alive, if a mirror can be called that, to almost everything she never told another living soul. It watched her at 19, the night before her wedding, practicing the expression she planned to wear walking down the aisle, because she didn't trust herself to arrive at the right one without rehearsing it first. It watched her at 24, sitting in front of it at 2 in the morning with a baby finally asleep in the next room, studying a face so exhausted she barely recognized it, and staying there anyway, brushing her hair long after there was any point to it, because the 10 minutes alone mattered more than the hair did. It watched her at 31, the morning after a funeral, doing her makeup with hands that wouldn't quite stop shaking, because the day required a face that could receive visitors, and the mirror was where that face got built, alone, before anyone else was allowed to see the work in progress. It watched her cry exactly the way she never cried in front of her husband, her children, or her own mother. Not because she was hiding something shameful, but because there is a particular kind of grief and joy and fear and relief that a person only fully lets show when they are entirely certain no one else is looking. The mirror was the one witness she'd allowed into that room, and it had the specific advantage over every other witness in her life of never once repeating what it saw, never once needing to be managed or comforted or explained to. It watched her go gray, a little at a time, in a way no photograph ever quite captured, because photographs are taken on occasions, posed and prepared for, while the mirror caught every single ordinary morning in between. The actual, unposed, decade-by-decade record of a woman's face changing, that she alone ever really saw in full. That mirror still hangs in that bedroom. The habit that used to happen in front of it, 10, 15, sometimes 30 private minutes, alone, unrecorded, unshared, has largely disappeared from most households, replaced by something that looks similar from across the room, but is doing something almost entirely different underneath. That's what this video is about. Part 1. The Vanity was the one room that asked nothing of her. Understand first what the vanity mirror's specific position in a woman's day actually was, because it wasn't merely a place to apply makeup or arrange hair. It was, for most of the women who had one, the only assigned space in the entire household that existed for no one's benefit but her own. The kitchen served the family. The parlor served the guests. Even the bedroom, shared, served a marriage. But the vanity, a small table, a stool, a mirror, tucked into a corner of a bedroom or a dressing room, served nobody but the woman sitting at it, for however long she chose to sit there, doing whatever she needed to do in front of that glass, answerable to nobody about how she used the time. This mattered enormously in households where a woman's entire day, every other hour of it, belonged to somebody else's needs. Children needed feeding. A husband needed a hot meal on the table at a reliable hour. A house needed managing. A garden needed tending. 100 small daily obligations needed meeting, none of which left much genuine space for a woman to simply be alone with her own face and her own thoughts, unobserved and unneeded by anyone. The vanity carved that space out deliberately and protected it in a way that few other parts of the house ever were. A closed door, or simply the understood signal of a woman sitting at her mirror, tended to buy her something close to real privacy. The family learned over time that this particular 10 or 15 minutes wasn't to be interrupted except for genuine emergency, the same way a study or an office might be respected in a different household's arrangement. Part 2. What actually happened in front of the glass. The activity in front of the mirror was never only cosmetic, though the cosmetics were real and mattered. Something more specific was happening in that quiet stretch of time, and it's worth naming plainly. She rehearsed faces there. Not out of vanity, but out of necessity. A woman managing a household through genuine hardship, grief, or fear needed, many mornings, to compose an expression sturdy enough to carry her through a day that required her to appear calm, capable, and unafraid, regardless of what she actually felt. The mirror was where that composure got built, privately, before it ever had to be worn in front of anyone else. This is not a small thing. Building the face you need for a hard day is real emotional labor. And the vanity was where that labor happened, unwitnessed, so that the finished result, not the effort behind it, was all the family ever had to see. She processed things there that she processed nowhere else. Grief, mostly, in households that experienced real loss with some regularity. A child, a husband, a parent. But also joy, too large or too private to share immediately. Worry she didn't want her children to see on her face at breakfast. Anger at a husband or a situation that needed somewhere private to go before it could be set down and dealt with calmly. The mirror received all of this the way a diary receives a private thought. Not judging it, not repeating it, simply holding it long enough for the woman looking into it to move through whatever she was feeling and arrive, eventually, at whatever face the rest of the day required. And she simply looked at herself, honestly, in a way that happened almost nowhere else in her day. Not performing for anyone, not arranging herself for a photograph, not checking how she appeared to others, just an honest, private accounting of her own face, at whatever age it happened to be that year, unfiltered by anyone else's presence or expectation. Part 3. The specific privacy of not being recorded. Here is the detail that's almost impossible to fully appreciate now. And it's the single biggest difference between that mirror and almost anything that has replaced it. Nothing that happened in front of it was ever captured, stored, or seen by anyone else, ever, unless she chose to speak about it herself. The mirror held no memory. It reflected the moment and then let it go completely, the instant she looked away. This meant a woman could sit in front of it at her most exhausted, most frightened, most genuinely unguarded, with absolute certainty that this particular version of her face would exist nowhere else. Not in a photograph, not in anyone's recollection, not in any form she'd ever have to account for or be reminded of later. The privacy wasn't just physical. It was total, in a way that almost nothing in a modern, camera-saturated life can actually offer anymore. This freed her to be more honest in front of it than she might have been in front of almost anyone else, including, in many cases, her own husband. A face can only be fully honest when it's certain nobody's going to bring it up again later. And the mirror was one of the only things in most women's lives that could make that specific, absolute promise. Compare this to what a woman's private moment in front of a mirror actually risks today, in a world where a phone with a camera sits within arm's reach at almost every hour. The instinct to document, even unconsciously, even for herself alone, changes the moment being documented. A woman taking a photo of her own tired face, even for nobody but her own private records, is doing something categorically different from a woman simply looking at that same face, fully present, with the absolute knowledge that this exact moment will exist nowhere once she stands up and walks away. Part 4. What replaced the vanity and what it actually changed. The vanity table itself didn't disappear so much as it got absorbed into a bathroom counter, a car's rearview mirror, a compact pulled out in a public restroom. Spaces that serve the same basic cosmetic function without ever being designed, the way the old vanity was, around the idea of private, unhurried time. The bathroom counter, shared by an entire household and rarely private for more than a few rushed minutes, doesn't protect the same stretch of solitary time the old vanity did. A woman getting ready there is usually getting ready quickly, around other people's schedules, in a room that everyone in the house has equal claim to. The unhurried, defended, nobody needs me right now quality of the old vanity mostly didn't survive the move. And the phone changed the nature of self-reflection itself in a way that's easy to underestimate. A woman looking at her own face today is very often doing so through a front-facing camera, framing the image, checking the angle, aware, even faintly, even for a moment meant only for herself, that this face could be photographed, saved, shared. That awareness alone changes what happens on the other side of the glass. The old vanity offered total, guaranteed privacy. The modern equivalent, even used entirely alone, exists in a world that has trained everyone to consider, at least briefly, how a face might look to someone else. Because so much of modern life now happens in front of an audience, real or imagined, that the habit of pure, unwitnessed self-reflection has become genuinely rare. Part 5. What got lost when the unrecorded moment disappeared? What disappeared here wasn't cosmetics, or even privacy in the simple sense of a closed door. It was a specific, protected span of time in which a woman could be entirely, safely, unobserved. Not performing calm, not performing okay, not composing herself for anyone's benefit, including, eventually, her own eventual audience of one. Emotional processing needs exactly this kind of unwitnessed space to actually happen. A feeling that has to be managed, presented, or shared the moment it arises rarely gets fully felt before it gets shaped into something presentable. The old vanity offered 10 or 15 minutes where a woman's face could fall apart completely and reassemble itself in private, at its own pace, with nobody rushing the process and nothing capturing the fall before the reassembly was complete. That specific kind of solitude, total, unrecorded, unwitnessed even by a future version of yourself scrolling back through old photos, has become one of the rarer resources in a modern life. Not because privacy itself vanished, but because the habit of seeking out a truly unrecorded moment, on purpose, stopped being something most people think to do at all. Part 6. Building back a small version of that mirror. You do not need a walnut-framed vanity or 50 years in the same house to reclaim any part of what that mirror actually offered. You need a deliberate habit of unrecorded, unhurried, unobserved time, protected the same way that bedroom corner used to be protected. Give yourself a genuinely device-free 10 minutes, facing an actual mirror with no phone in the room at all. Not to check anything, not to fix anything necessarily, simply to look, honestly, at your own face in a space where nothing about the moment will be captured or referred back to later. Protect the time the way she protected it, a closed door. a signal to the rest of the household that this particular stretch of minutes isn't available for interruption except for something genuinely urgent. The old Vanity's privacy wasn't automatic. It was defended, quietly and consistently, until everyone around her understood not to interrupt it. Let the hard feelings happen there, on purpose, before you have to perform composure anywhere else. If a hard day is coming, 5 minutes alone with your own face, before anyone else is awake or before you have to be anywhere, does real work that a rushed morning skips entirely. The same work that mirror used to do for her every single time she needed a face sturdy enough for whatever the day was about to ask of it. Resist the urge to document the moment, even for yourself. The value of the old Vanity depended entirely on nothing being kept. A version of this today has to include deliberately choosing not to photograph the unguarded face, letting a private moment stay private, even from your own future scrolling, the same total way the mirror once let it. Part 7. The one witness that never told. There's a reason that mirror in Savannah has outlasted almost everyone who ever confided in it, in a manner of speaking, and it's worth sitting with, because it says something true about the specific kind of trust a woman could put in an object that a person, however loving, could never quite offer in the same way. A husband, however devoted, remembers things, brings them up later, worries about what he saw on your face that morning, even weeks afterward. A friend, however loyal, carries what you tell her into her own life, her own worries about you, her own occasional slip in a moment she didn't intend. Even a diary can be found, read, quoted back. The mirror alone offered something categorically different: total witness and total forgetting in the same instant. That combination, being fully seen and then completely released from having been seen, turns out to be one of the rarer gifts a private life can offer anyone. And it's worth understanding that its rarity isn't really about the object at all. A mirror never did anything special. It simply held still and reflected whatever was actually there, without judgment, without memory, without ever needing anything back. The woman who used it well wasn't relying on the glass. She was relying on the one guarantee the glass could make that almost nothing else in her life could. That this specific version of her, whatever it looked like that morning, would be witnessed completely, and then would belong to no one, including herself, ever again. That's a kind of privacy worth wanting back, mirror or no mirror at all. If your family still has an old Vanity, a mirror that's been in the same spot for generations, or a story about the quiet 10 minutes a grandmother or mother used to take before anyone else was awake, tell us about it in the comments. These small, unrecorded rituals are some of the easiest parts of the past to lose completely, because by their very nature, almost nobody ever wrote them down. And if this is the kind of history worth keeping alive, hit subscribe. We dig one of these up every week. The quiet, private kind of history that never needed an audience to matter, and still doesn't.